Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. I'm Sachin Sharma, working as a partner in Grant Thornton, and my focus area is providing solution, advisory, litigation support, compliance support, etc., as comes under IDT domain. I'm also leading tax technology initiative for the firm from indirect tax standpoint. We have held this session to give a brief about the ERP integration, why it is necessary for an organization, and how our tool can support in the entire technology domain from GST standpoint. As you all are aware that GST compliance requires continuous uploading of invoice data, returns, reconciliation, and if ERP is not integrated, businesses must manually extract, convert, and upload data, which increases errors and inefficiency. In order to have seamless data flow, organization, majorly medium and large scale organization, should integrate their ERP system with ASP GSP. Large enterprises generally generate thousands to lakhs of invoices daily. Uploading them manually is impractical. Further integrate ERP automation compliances saves significant time and operational cost. It would also enable automated reconciliation, making ITC claims accurate and timely manner. So GST demands detailed audit trail and periodic reporting. With integration, businesses can generate GST compliance report directly from ERP. In short, ERP GST integration is necessary to ensure compliance at scale, reduce manual effort, improve accuracy, enable real-time reporting, and avoid penalties. In this webinar, we will showcase how ERP integration works and how our in-house tool GTaxPro can support in all said previously. GTaxPro developed in-house by GT, which is a one-stop solution for all GST compliances, whether it's invoicing, EA bill, reconciliation, GSTR returns, monthly returns, ISD returns, annual returns, so on and so forth, which and that to integrate with multiple ERPs. Now, I would like to introduce Amish Agrawal to take it forward and give an overview on ERP integration in GST. Just as a brief introduction, Amish is a chartered accountant with over 15 years of experience in indirect taxes. He co-leads the tax technology from an indirect tax perspective alongside me. I would also like to introduce Arya Ranjan. Arya has a 13 years of experience in the area of SAP implementation, Fiori, custom in launchpads, product development, and programming in AV/AP alongside other ERPs. He has successfully led the team for implementation of invoicing and e-bill processes, as well as integration with multiple third-party systems. He is also part of the project delivery team in numerous large and mid-scale implementation projects like S4 HANA implementation, migration in different ERPs, dealer portals, PAL portal, WM with barcode and support, etc. So, thank you, Amish and Arya, for joining the session. To start with, Amish, if you can take over and discuss the why it is required for an organization to integrate their system with GTaxPro or, for that matter, any other tool to have a beneficial outcome from overall in a tech standpoint. Over to you, Amish. Thank you.
Thanks, Sachin. Thanks. So, firstly, a very warm good afternoon and welcome everyone to join this webinar. Continuing from where Sachin left, and as Sachin has already said the context, today we are going to talk about, why integration. Why is it helpful? What are the benefits of integration? And why, as an entity, should we go for it? Now, as we all know, managing GST compliances is not an easy task considering the entire processes set up by the GST portal, coupled with the fact that every now and then they come up with new requirements and new updates to the existing requirements, and so on and so forth, increasing overall the compliance burden to meet up with all the GST compliances as per the laws. Now, to start with, let me first take you through what are the key challenges that we face while undertaking the GST compliances. Yeah, next slide, please. So, firstly, manual data preparation. So, as we all know, that GST is a data driven compliance where invoice level data is required to be uploaded and filed onto the GST portal. So this is the first and foremost key challenge that we face while undertaking GST compliances. A reliance on multiple spreadsheets, manual uploads, considering the huge volume of data and considering the different GSTINs that an entity may have. So heavy reliance on spreadsheets and manual uploads. Resultantly, it leads to chances of errors being prone due to the manual intervention. And also, it also leads to duplication of efforts across tax and finance teams. So, the key challenge that we see and we've experienced in terms of what we do for our clients or for our clients is the hectic manual data preparation to be done for the purposes of preparing the final set of data for uploading onto the GST portal for returns or maybe preparing it for the reconciliation. Second is the reconciliation. As we all know that reconciliation is the most important and critical factor in the entire GST compliance framework, considering that we claim ITC because of that. So the manual preparation with respect to reconciliation also becomes time consuming. It can cause delays in the overall reconciliations and thereby leading to delays in identification of missed out credits or mismatches. And ultimately, it may lead to missed ITC claims due to the unmatched or the missing entries, which of course is a cash loss or interest loss to the company in terms of the delay on account of the ITC claim that happens. Thirdly is the compliance penalties. So again, time spending too much time on data, taking it out from the ERP, preparing it manually, putting it into the utility formats, all may lead to late filings due to data unavailability or due to data not being prepared in a final manner. This leads to either errors in GST returns, which invites fines and notices from the GSTINs. Now, manual data entry may also lead to incorrect filings, differences of filings in the numbers across returns. So, let's say, for example, a different number in 1 and 3B, and which leads to increased litigations and disputes from the authorities. Lastly, because of all of this, it ultimately leads to high operational costs in terms of the data collation and filing being done by multiple teams, heavy dependency on external consultants, and overheads for large businesses on accounts of teams spending huge time on the data preparation. Next slide, please. So, why integrate? What happens if we integrate? Firstly, it automates the data extraction part. So integration is a direct connection between two systems. So in this case, a connection of your ERP with the tax technology or the ASP GSP tool, in our case GTaxPro, to undertake all the GST compliances. So it means that it automates the entire process of data flow. So it involves direct extraction of invoice and transactional level data from ERP and is directly pushed from the ERP into the tool for further processing of the returns or maybe the reconciliations. So it minimizes manual intervention and resultantly minimizes the errors, and it ensures accuracy and consistency across the data in the books and the data which is used in the GST filings. Second is the real time reconciliation. As I just mentioned, delayed reconciliation may lead to delayed input tax claim credits. Integration, since it helps in automated data push from the ERP to the tool, may be done in a frequency as may be decided by an entity. So, which would lead to an automated matching of the two-way to be with the vendor invoices in a frequency which is not a monthly frequency. We can do it on a month, on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly basis, which will help in easy and early identification of missed credits or mismatches, and because of which rectification action which needs to be taken on those, like for example communicating with the vendor that our invoices have not coming into B or we are having mismatches. So these all rectification actions can be taken much faster and earlier than doing a month end reconciliation after the 2B gets generated. This also results in a faster month end closure and reduced ITC loss. Now, because of all this, the data being sent to the tool in a timely manner. Thirdly, it also results in timely and accurate compliances. And as now we all know that these data being pushed into one compliance process of, let's say, invoice, it auto populates our GSTR1, which in turn auto populates our 3B. Any invoice also populates the GSTR2A of the vendor. So all data is correlated. So providing correct data into the portal is very, very important. Integration with help in timely submissions, it reduces the risks of penalties and notices, and it also improves the accuracy and reliability of the entire compliance process. Lastly, it becomes a very cost efficient process in the long run, although it may entail some costs at the initial implementation phase. But going on the long run, this reduces the manpower dependency, the manpower involvement, it cuts down the consultant's cost, and yes, of course, as it is scalable in overall long run, it is very, very cost efficient. Next slide, please. So to conclude on why ERP integration, this is the power of ERP integration. It helps in real time data sync. So data, as soon as you prepare your invoice in your ERP, the data is ready and can be synced with the tool, with the GST portal or the invoice portal for further processing. It helps in improved decision making as the data being sent is the same as in the books and used in the GST filings. Integration is very, very highly and extremely scalable. As your business grows, the number of transactions grows, you may enter new markets, you may have new GSTINs. All those are very easily taken care of in the integration model. It is very, very cost efficient, and yes, it also provides the remote access to the users as they can access the system from anywhere at any place of time. Next slide, please. So coming to the API integration. So integration can be of two types: a tightly coupled integration, which is through APIs, or maybe a loosely coupled integration, which is the SFTP. We focus more on API integration because this is faster, more secured, and more reliable. So what are the key benefits of an API integration? Instant updates. So invoice level data and validations processed in real time. I'll give a very classic example of any invoice here of the instant updates. So let's say we have raised an invoice in our ERP, and if we are integrated by APIs through any ASP GSP tool, in a real time sync, instantly the data is processed, whereby all the validations are run, errors if any are thrown at that very time itself, and then the data is so processed that the data is pushed to the tool. From the tool it is pushed to the IRP portal. The IRP portal processes the entire data, returns the response to the tool, and in turn the tool provides response to the ERP, and finally you take a printout of the invoice in your own smart form format from your own ERP. These all happens in seconds, and which is the key benefit and the power of integration. Similarly happens with the case of e-invoice as well, e-waybill as well. And for the other purposes of return filings and reconciliation, all the data can be instantly sent to the tool with all the validations being run on them. No manual data entry, as the data is being directly pushed from the ERP to the relevant tool. There is no manual intervention of data entry, and hence it results in fewer or no human errors or no data manipulation. Lastly, complete audit trail. Every API transaction is logged for full traceability. So at any point of time, if anybody wants to know what data, which data was sent to the tool at what point of time, API has a complete log and audit trail of every transaction that it happens, and it sends or communicates with the ASP GSP tool. Another very, very important factor for any entity or a concern is the data security. API provides the highest level of security in terms of data and control because it is all through token based security, and it is a fully secure API access. It is fully encrypted and monitored. It is protected with SSL encryption, and all activities are tracked with audit logs. It supports secure SSO and SAML integration with core business systems. Reducing manual intervention itself is a first step towards providing more security and control to the data. An API is, you can say, is on the top of the list, which provides you the best security for your data, and which we have experienced is one of the primary concerns of any enterprise, wanting to share data with any external third-party consultant or an ASP GSP tool. Next slide, please. So this is all, all about why API integration. What is the power of API integration? And my friend and colleague Arya, will take us through how, as an example, it helps you on an SAP environment. Uh, how does integration help you with the entire compliance of, right, starting from e-invoice to, sales and purchases data push and everything on that. This is GTaxPro, our in-house developed GST compliance tool, a one-stop shop and solution for all your compliance needs for seamless preparation, filing of GST returns, e-invoicing and e-waybill generation, cancellation, updation, bulk automated data validations, uh, data-driven analytics, and interactive UI with being ERP agnostic. So GTax Pro is capable of being integrated with any ERP which can consume the APIs as its feature, and of course, very, very advanced vendor reconciliation with the feature of IMS as well. Now, I would like to hand it over back to Sachin to take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Amish, for the insight. It was very, very amazing to know that how integration can help in the overall IDT domain, like helping real-time syncing of data, deleting errors, help in decision making, which is very much required for a mid to large-scale organization, and usage of integration in a scalable business, which is need of the hour, as well as it's gonna be a very, very cost-efficient model if we see from a long-term perspective. And of course, the security, which you have rightly mentioned. Very, very insightful, Amish. Thank you very much. Now, I would request Arya to take us through the overall integration, you can say, roundup, that how it's gonna help, how it actually works in the overall domain of GTex Pro. Over to you, Arya. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sachin, for setting the context for me. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, like Miss were left that we have a already integrated system where, the ERP system and specifically here the SAP system will, talk to the GTax Pro. So, like we have mentioned that, the ASP service provider like GTax Pro is working as a no one-stop solution for the all the GST related compliance things. So here we have built a solution where in the SAP whatever the invoice data, where we have put a platform there where every you can get the all the invoices there, and based on that itself from the cockpit itself the user will going to create the e-invoice, e-way bill, like the GST R1 and all the RICO type of things. So I'm just sharing my screen to take you through that entire process. So just let me know if my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, Arya.
Yes, Arya, we can see.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Basically, to start with, this is the e-invoice cockpit where we have given the option of company code, plan, sales org, then a billing document and the billing date. So based on this criteria, so the user has an option to select the range of data on which they want to perform the e-invoicing part. So additionally, we have given option on the selection screen where the user has the flexibility to select which type of data they want to proceed further, like they want to see all the data, or they want to specifically want the data on which they want to perform the invoice process. So here we have selected the data for the on which the user want to proceed with the invoicing part. So here we have selected some data there, the date range there, and we have just executed. So once you executed, then the user can see the all the invoice related data here, starting from the first the second column, the invoice data, the invoice line items there, Then initially the exception is in the column where the user will be identified, like what are the fields on which the invoicing process is been performed, if the line item is successfully posted or if there is any error there. And along with that, you can see in the right we have captured all the data there. Now starting from see all the data like the IRN details, the eBay bill, the invoice, and every details related to the invoice also been captured here. So here one more factor is that we have, you can see the eBay bill column is also there along with the IRN number. So once the e-invoice is been generated, the IRN number will be generated. But at the same time, if for that particular invoice, if the user has already maintained the the transporter details, then along with the e-invoice, the e-way bill is also going to be created automatically. So here in certain cases, you can see the e-way bill number is been generated. In certain cases, it is null. So in the case where we have only created the invoice number, then the IRN number field will be filled. In the other case, the e-way bill number will be remain blank or fill as null. So if the user is going to fill all the details, then the e-way bill number are also going to be filled there. So in this report, all the details of that particular line item will be there. Along with that, you can see in the top that we have generate invoice, cancel invoice, iron status, print invoice. So all the the features of that particular process is been there. Certain processes are only applicable at the production server, like the canceling eBay bill or canceling invoice, then the iron status, the update vehicle number. So certain features are working only on the live server, but we can demonstrate like creating invoice, creating eBay bill, then the print of that part. We can demonstrate that process. So here also we have given one more option, like once you select the, you can see the invoices there, and further clicking, if let's say the user want to validate that invoice. So further clicking on the invoice, that will take you to the invoice number itself, whether the user can validate the data. So further, so we are taking that line number 2337 for the invoice processing here. So we have just clicking that checkbox and starting with the generate invoice. So while clicking on the generate invoice, so in the background, it is going to connect from the SAP system. We are connecting to the GTaxPro system, where we are passing all the required information to the GTaxPro server, and the GTaxPro server is further going to communicate with the government portal, while the IRN number is going to be generated, and once the process has been completed, it will going to give us the acknowledgement for that. So in certain cases, so once it has been generated, you can see in the bottom left, the IRN number has been generated along with the IRN number, and further clicking there, you can see that the IRN number along with the eBay bill number. So here you can see the IRN number is been generated, the acknowledgement number is there, the QR code has been there, and just because for that 2337 invoice number, we have already maintained the transporter details. So along with the e-invoice, the eBay bill also been generated. Okay, so all the information the user can check from here itself. So this is the we have created table maintenance generator where the user can input the data. So like I mentioned, for the eBay bill generation, for that particular invoice, the user has to put the transporter details handy with them. So here we have given an option where in the reference number, the user need to add the invoice number along with the transporter details. So once we maintain here, so if the transporter details is been maintained over here, so you can see for the 236, 237, the transporter details already been there. So once if the detail is been updated here, then the e-way bill can be generated. So again, we are going to demonstrate the process with one invoice where the transporter details is not been updated. So you can see for the line number 238, the yeah, it is not been processed yet, and for that we have removed the the transporter details. So right now, once we create the e-invoice, the system is going to only create the iron number, and the e-way bill number is not going to be generated for this particular case. So now it is been created. So just a sec. Yeah, so once it is been generated, you can see it for 238. It's only created the iron number, the invoice is been generated, but the e-way bill is not been generated just because we have removed that, the transporter details is not been maintained for this particular invoice number. So now we are going to see the print of that particular part. We have selected the invoice number and select the print invoice. So it is going to show us the invoice number print for that particular part along with the QR code. So this is the invoice details, and the print is been generated for that particular part. So now we are going to, as the e-way bill is not been generated, we are going to generate the e-way bill first for this particular process. So for that e-way bill process also, we have, created a cockpit where the same option is been given like company code, plant, then sales organization, billing date, and the same option like the e-way bill is been mentioned over here. So we have selected a test variant here to proceed here. So we are just updating the transporter details for that particular invoice 238. We have updated it. So now we are going to run that process. So for you can see for the 238, the iron will be iron is already been there. The e-way bill number is remain blank there. So we are going to proceed with the e-way bill now. So we'll proceed with the generate e-way bill. So the API authentication issue has been there. So this is the exceptional case where, in certain cases we can have a network connectivity issues. So we have also given one more option there where in the e-invoice we have also given the generate part B option, where for the same invoice the user can generate the e-way bill. So right now in the e-invoice part I have generated the part B, and you can see for the 238 2338 invoice number, the e-way bill is been generated now. So initially the e-way bill was completed, and now for that particular case we have generated the e-way bill also. So we're going to show you one more case for the e-way bill where, the case where the e-invoice is not been there, and we are just going to perform the e-way bill for that particular invoice number. So initial two invoices which we have shown is one with, both with e-way bill and invoice number. The second is only e-invoice is been generated, e-way bill is not been there. And this is the case where no e-invoice is been generated. We are going to perform only the e-way bill. So 239 is the, 339 is the invoice number where we have updated the transporter details, and now we are going to run that e-way bill only. So we have generated e-way bill now. So now we can see the e-way bill has been generated for 239 invoice number. Yes, and you can see the acknowledgement field remains blank, the iron field remains blank. That means there is, for this particular invoice number, e-invoice is not been there, it is only for the e-way bill. So now we are going to demonstrate the print of that e-way bill. So here you can see the printout of that e-way bill which has been generated there. Okay. So this is all about the e-invoice and e-way bill. So now we are proceeding further with the GST R1 and GST R2 report. So GST R1 is basically all the sales report, available in the SAP system. So here is the cockpit there for the GST R1, where we have given options like, these are all the selection screen data, which is, very much flexible to make any changes there. Let's say for a particular user where they need some more bifurcation of data, that is also can be possible here. So we have given here all the related information from the SAP system, like the company code, business place, the posting data, document date, and all the relevant information we have passed on here. And then we have just filled it and run that GST R1 report. So it is collecting all the records from the SAP system and, showing in a ALV format there. So once this is all the data, extracted from the SAP system for the given data, date area there. So we have captured all the relevant information for the invoices from here. You can go right and you can see all the data like FI data, SD data, and in the end you can see, like the GST status has been there, the green column and the blue column. It actually captures the status what once we process the data, the GST R1. So basically the objective is that we collect all the data from the SAP system for the GST R1, and we just need to pass on the records to the GTaxPro server. So once GTaxPro system get the data GST R1, so they will further reconcile the data there. So here we have captured all the data. So for that particular record, so this is, we have given a option there to select the range. Like, we have selected given all the records here. So user has an flexibility to select the records which they want to proceed further with the GSTR1, which they want to send it further. So the option has been given to select the data, and now we need to process the GSTR1. So the validation has been there. So once we have processed the GST R1 data, so it is going to hit the GTaxPro system there. So here you can see in the bottom below, you can get the GST R1 process successfully. So once the message received, that means the data is already been sent and received by the GTaxPro portal. So here also we have given an option where the user can be notified that this document is successfully posted and GST R1 document successfully sent there. So this information is been given so that the user will be, notified that this data has been successfully sent. If there is any error in the record also, in that case also the user is going to be understand, or though in the information message we get back a message that what exactly the error due to which the record is not been processed. So the next option is the GST R2 report, which is basically the purchase data there. So we have given the same option here like GST R1 here. So we'll select the test variant and we'll execute it further. So basically here the same option has been given. So the line items which are, marked in green are like, they have successfully posted. Are the line items which are in red are, marked as, certain error is been there along with the error message that what exactly the error there and why the data is not been processed successfully. So the error can be identified here, and, user can rectify the error. So here you can see that some invoice, total amount is incorrect, or some, or what exactly the information is been there. So user can understand the message there and further can correct the data and send it further. So these are the information received once we send the data further. So these are the information, the error message or success message there. So again, in this case also we need to, select the record which we need to send it to the GSTR portal. So here we are selecting a record here and sending it further. So here the record has been successfully sent there. Just a second. So once the record has been successfully sent, you can see all the line items turn into green now. So just both the line items turned into green just because it is the same document number with two line items. So here you can see the line item number 10 and 20. So we have selected one invoices, but just because that invoices has two line items, so it processed both the line items there. So this is all about the GST R2 process. So the next process we have, like the so here also in the GST R2 we have given all these options like what invoice type, then B2B, B2C. So from that data also we have given an option to bifurcate that what exactly if there is any specific data which we need to proceed further. So we have given that option to select here also. So the next process will be like the BP master or vendor master there. So in the SAP, the BP is the process, the business partner is the process where we create the vendor. So we have an option where whenever we create a business partner in SAP, so that time we need to all the GST details of the vendor itself. So that time also we have given, we have incorporated a process where, when the user is going to put the GST detail of the vendor, that the detail is going to be validated. So once the detail is been validated, the user will take a action that whether the details filled there are correct or incorrect, or it is active or not active. So all the details is going to be there. So here we have taken one business partner detail here. So here in the identification column, so this is basically SAP's business partner creation or business partner change transaction. So here in the identification field, you can see the details. So here in the identification, we put the GST detail of the vendor. So now here the vendor GSTIN is been filled. So once after filling the GSTIN details, when the user is going to save the data, so that time itself we are validating whether the GSTIN details filled here are correct or not correct. So here you can see. So once you after putting the JSON details, once you save it, because to create the data or to create the business partner or to change the business partner, you need to save. So once you save it, you get a error message here itself that the message invalid GST details. So it is further the business call whether they want to proceed with the wrong data or they need to change the data. So here we are just the GSTN which is been filled is not the correct GSTN. So do you want to continue further? So we said no. So now we are just putting the correct GSTN again. We are changing the correct GSTN and now we are saving it. So once you save it, so this time we have selected the correct GSTN. So that GSTN also been validated, mentioning that okay, the valid GSTN status is active, the type is regular, and the name of the Grand Thornton Bharat. So this time also is giving you all the details of that particular. Sometime let's say if the GSTN is active but the e-invoice status is inactive. So that time also is going to give you the correct information to take a call that whether to proceed with the business partner or for that time for that particular timing we need to hold the BP master creation so that the user can get the correct data from the supplier and proceed further in the SAP system to register it. So this is all from the SAP side and from the integration side. So over to you, Sachin. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing, Arya, for taking us to the entire process or so to say ecosystem. It was quite insightful to know how system can talk to each other. So when you talk about GTaxPro and client's ERP system vis-a-vis our system, overall automation, or notifying user post completion of a particular task on its own, I would say, and then detect problem and ask human to take actions, and that too on a timely basis, so that everything goes smooth, error free, and gives minimum room to GST authorities, I would say, to raise questions on a business transactions. That's quite amazing, Arya. Thank you very much. Now we have a few questions. We'll ask both you, Amish, and Arya. So over to Amish first. That can ERP integration be done by your team or as team, or how it would happen? If you can just give us a brief about the overall ecosystem process, Amish.
Sure, Sachin. So, Sachin, we can assist in the ERP integration with our ready cockpits. However, internal IT team support is, required for few tasks. So, let's say for granting the access,
Okay.
supporting with the understanding of the specific ERP landscape. As you know, many people get some customizations done in the ERP during the implementation phases. Alternatively, we can also provide our APIs for consumption, whereby clients IT team, or if they have any vendors for any customized ERP, they can also take up the integration part.
Okay. Thank you, Amish. So, Arya, a question to you: that what are the prerequisite from a company side before starting the integration? What kind of a requirement they need to do? You are on mute,
Yeah,
Arya.
so basically what they need is, the client needs to be have there in SAP S4 HANA or the ECC system there. And also along with that, we just need to know the client's infrastructure where, the IP whitelisting to be done there. So this
Okay.
is good to start there.
Okay. Great. Good to know that. So, Amish, another rapid fire question. So, what is the tentative timeline for this entire integration ecosystem?
So, Sachin, timeline would depend upon the features that is chosen for the integration. A complete integration of, what Arya just showcased may generally take around 4 to 6 weeks, subject to the customizations implemented in the ERP, which may affect, our integration piece. But let's say, for our example, if we talk, only of e-invoice or an e-way bill, that can be done in a span of maybe 2 to 3 weeks also.
Okay. So you mean to say within 2 to 3 weeks, or maybe max in a 1 month span, that entire integration process or ecosystem can be completed, right? That is that's how it should be. Great. So, Arya, what happens in case of ERP version updation is there at the client side? So, what is to be done there?
Yeah, so basically, when the ERP system updation happens, like the client is moving from ECC 2020 to 2023, or as for HANA's version updation. So basically, in that case, we don't have to make any change in the process there, because when the migrations or updations happens, the SAP system, the ecosystem will automatically take care of those changes. So there would be absolutely no change in the code level or program level where we have to take care of those things. So it will be automatically taken care with the SAP ecosystem in the updation things.
Great, great. So, although we are about to reach the deadline, but there are so many questions, so I will take last question that to you, Arya, that
Okay.
who all can access the integration cockpits?
Okay, so basically, these are all in the SAP. These are all transactional process. So we have created separate transactions for the e-invoice, e-way bill, and GST R1. So it is purely the business call that they whom they want to give the access for that particular process. So like for the e-invoice process, it should remain with the somebody from the sales team. So
Okay,
the client has a they prepare a role matrix for that, and they give us that to whom to give access to that, and accordingly we create a role matrix and give access as per the business need. It's not like it's not open to everybody. Whoever clients want to give access, the role matrix prepared accordingly.
great, great. Thanks, Arya, and thanks, Amish, Arya, as well as the August audience to join the session. We have only crossed the deadline for the session, and thank you for all the insights. How entire automation system can help the business to reach at a particular scale, decision making, helping re- uh, reduction in errors, giving very less room for the GST authorities to raise questions, so and so forth. Thank you, everyone. And if you have any further questions, please reach out to any of us. We are happy to help. Thank you. Thank you for that. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Thank
day.
you, everyone.